Alright guys, here's a quick update on how it's been going. I have fixed the bug that involves flames. So if we watch here, when it's done cooking, it's actually gonna put out the flame and it's not gonna be so annoying anymore. So you don't have this constantly burning and you can tell when it's done smelting, which is pretty nice. Also, there's this block. It's the IO, and I know a lot of people have been asking for it, and I finally got it working. Let me show you how to craft it. Just get rid of some of this crap. Alright, you need a dispenser. And I'm going back to the old stone bricks, because it looks like it's made out of stone bricks. Anyway, it's pretty simple. Just do that. Stick your dispenser in the middle, and bam. Now, this is just a regular building block. You can go anywhere on it. If you have nothing in your hand and you shift right click, we're going to switch what slot it's going to put this into. So basically, if you want it to go into the fuel slot, you'll see there's nothing in there right now. Let's put a hopper and put some fuel. It just went right in there. Now we want to put some cobble in there. It's not going to go in. Now it's nice to put it on a corner, because then you can actually still right click it, because hoppers have the messed up hitboxes. So anyway, now we're going to set this to input. You'll notice if I try putting fuel in it now, well, it's just going to stick it in the input. That's just something that comes along with it. When you're automating it, you're not going to put fuel in your input automation anyway. So here you go. Put that in there. We're going into the input. I rewrote around vanilla a bit so that you can set this to only output. So if I put fuel or cobble in there, it's not going to do it because you can't insert into that. However, if I put a hopper underneath it, you'll see it starts draining. So that still works, which is nice. And you can limit it, because vanilla will pull the fuel out the way it was set up, so I had to change that. So now the input output is what IO stands for. It works, and I'm pretty happy about it. That's one thing that I really wanted to implement. You'll notice I also made a creative tab and cleaned up all the dummy blocks. Now you only see the ones you can craft. And this, if you remember from the last video, if you watched it, this was the lava core, but it doesn't do anything right now. It has nothing to do with this. It was a center block that would take away the need for fuel, but I realize that's a little overpowered, so I'm gonna push it off to the side. And I spent the time animating this texture and everything, so I was like, well, I could at least repurpose it. So if we set the time, so if you set the time to night, you'll see it acts just like a lamp. It's crafted fairly simply. You just get a bucket and some glass. It's not expensive, it's just another way of light. There we go, and boom. You get your bucket back, by the way. That's just how it works. So there you go, and you'll notice that it went off. So let's throw in the crafting core and let's see how it works. Let's just see if we want to have a crafting core in here as well, if this will work just as pretty. Yep. Alright. So we got this guy. Let's set him to just fuel. Now let's set him to input. Yeah, he's not setting it in there. And now let's set him to output. And neither one of these are doing it. So input. Yeah, let's take this out. There we go. And it started putting them in there. Now this guy, he's also set to input. So that's the thing you got to watch out for. If you set the block to input and it tries to input it, the hopper that's also connected to that is going to suck it right out. So it would be advised to, if you're going to have an output, come over here and set its own one to output, because, I mean, hoppers extract. So just a heads up on that. I had a few times when I was debugging and I was like, well, where's it all going? It was just going into the hopper underneath. I had a hopper just full of stuff, but I eventually figured it out, so that's good. So I just want to give you guys a bit of an update on this. Let me show you. I reworked a bit how the redstone works. It's no longer exponential, which is nice, because you'll notice on the earlier versions it would just kind of tear away at your fuel. So now it's a little faster, or it's not as fast, but it doesn't eat as much fuel. Now, there's the one bug that's left is this, and I've been messing with it a bit, and I'm tired of messing with it. If you want that to go away, break the block, place it back, and every time you open it again, it works. I don't know why, it just does. So there you go. If you really want that arrow, build it, form it, take out a block, put it back and reform it, and there you go, it works. If anyone out there knows how to fix that, please tell me, because I'm done. I spent too much time trying to figure it out, and it's starting to annoy me a bit. So that's a bit of an update on how the mod's going. I think at this point, I almost want to just leave it where it is. If you guys can give me any ideas on what you want to see now, I am pretty happy with it. It works out well. The only bug is this dang arrow, which we've been over is a bit of a hassle. And other than that, I like where it is. I think the math is pretty balanced now. A redstone, like if I had a grid, I'm going to actually try to build this out for you. Here's regular efficiency. Each redstone pushes it this way towards speed but loss of efficiency. But if you add in an iron block, they're actually over here, it will push it this way. It's not an iron block. It'll push it towards efficiency while canceling out those. So if you had 2 and 2, you'll see it's equal, so it's going to do just as good as cobble. But if you added like this much, you'll be more efficient with a little bit of a speed boost. Or if you put a lot over here, you have 4 blocks, so you can take off 4 of the inefficiency, and you're still left with this much speed. So it's a bit of a balance, and I don't know if I'm done with it yet. I'm gonna test it out in an actual play and see just how fair it is by slowly upgrading it 1 block at a time. But as it stands, I'm pretty happy with it. I like this toggleable interface. You'll see it's nice to be able to change what you're putting in there based on what you set a block to, because it's a big structure, and vanilla, it's kind of annoying because it puts input on the top and fuel on the side and output on the bottom. But if you want the output on the side, now you can do that. If I had it set up in an environment with something like Buildcraft, I could break it and then let me go back around and reform it. And you should be able to set this guy to only output, and the only slot it can access is that one. So the only thing it can pump out is the output. It's not going to pump out the input or the fuel. So that'll solve that problem. But other than that, the mods, I've just been working on, polishing it up, getting it to a state where I'd like it to be. And I think I've gotten it there. I've added a block that's been pestering me for a while. You'll see, if you shift right click, you can still place blocks on it. Oh yeah, that's another thing. If you don't place this block in front of it, because what it does is you'll see it invalidates the one behind it. So be careful placing multiple furnace cores next to each other, but as long as you don't place the thing outside of where it's supposed to be, it's not a problem, and it's useless outside anyway. So just use it as it's intended and don't try to mess with it. I don't see the purpose of putting it here and then breaking it. You can do that, but what's the point? Anyway, I think there's not going to be any fatal bugs anymore. That started with the automation. There's not going to be anything drastically fatal about it, and everything works pretty much as planned. So at this point, just tell me what you guys want or would like to see. The only thing I would change is just how it looks. I might change the textures a bit, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it is. Yeah, I'm not trying to compete with big name tech mods, obviously. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think, and I hope you enjoy Modular Furnace. I put a lot of time and effort into this mod, so thank you guys for checking it out.